Yo, you're in the studio with Leon Switch, and today I want to show you how I use plugins like BFD3 to make drum kits for use in my tunes. There's a few of these VSTs available, like Addictive Drums or Superior Drummer, that are filled with multi-velocity layered drum hits from real drum kits. I love the idea of having these drums recorded and played by real drummers, and the velocity layers means we can have several hits of the same drum, which is perfect for variation. These kits can then later be layered with other bass drums or snares to add more depth or punch, but they can also be used on their own as main kits or fill kits for your tunes. I hope you enjoy this video and find it insightful and helpful. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to check out the members section, as members are getting access to the videos early and the samples from the videos where applicable. Much love, and let's get to the video. Okay, so I've launched Ableton and I've opened up the BFD3, which is like an acoustic drummer, drum machine sort of style thing. They're real world drum kits that have been recorded at very high quality with multiple velocity hits and microphones. It's super cool, super cool. So, and you can load in your kits on the left hand side here. There's quite a range of kits, and I know you can buy more. I figured for this, what I would do is we could use this to just create some drum breaks, which we can then cut up afterwards, and we can use in with our tunes. It's a brilliant way of starting. I think that acoustic drums are super cool. I think they can really work in a lot of situations. I think you have to be very careful with them, and especially with these multiple microphone recording ones, they don't sound very EDM. So anyway, before we go any further, go down, hit that like and subscribe button, and also go check the members section out. We've got some good things going on over there. So yeah, big up, and let's get on with this tutorial. So what I've got here is I've just loaded in the default first kit as it was. So I'll just tap the keys. I've had to transpose my keyboard to down an octave because it's not GM kind of layout. I mean, it kind of is, but kind of isn't. And you can hear that in general the samples are a really good quality. One of the things that I really love about using these kind of machines, you hear the difference in the hit. So it's the same kit over and over again. It's just or the same drum over and over again. It's just recorded at different velocities, which is brilliant and super handy for us. So what we will do is we'll have a look at the bass drum initially, and you can hear this tail on that, and we can also see that it's being affected. It's affecting the snare. So what we will try is we'll just pan this out. What have we got here? So we've got kick out, kick sub. So let's just try muting a few of these off. That's already a better kick. Let's mute the snare for a second. Okay, that's fine. So I quite like the kick out. Okay. So I definitely prefer it without the kick sub there. So let's close that back up for a second, and let's have a look at this. So if we come along a little bit, we've got this ambient mix here. If I could bring this mixer along, we've got this ambient mix. So let's mute that off. There we go. So you can hear you've got the whole room and a bit of reverb and stuff involved in that, and that's not what we're after particularly. I don't think anyway, for my what I want at the end result. So I think that's so. Let's have a look at this kick drum. So we can come across to the left again. If we just highlight this channel so we can see that it's a different color to the others, we can then come to drums, or I can click on the kick at the top here, and it then opens up this little pane here, and these are different kick drums that we've actually got within the BFD3. So I'm going to double click on this one, and that's gonna, you can see the picture changed. You can see it's loading in the samples. Let's pull this out again and let's just have a look at this. Ah, you see, I don't mind it so much now. Now that we turn that ambient room off. So what we can do is we can come across and basically, I know there's a few different options for adjusting the individual drums. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've got my kick selected, which it is here. And I'm just going to click on a few of these buttons and see what we can do here. So I know that we've got tuning here, so we can tune it up and down, which I'm not so worried about right now. Let's have a look at this. Let's just turn that off. And we can see that it's now, you can see that it's coming through on the snare on the mixer there. We can turn that off. And it's not now. So that's once again a bit better for us. Let's have a look. So we've got gain at the top here. We should have, somewhere around here, we should have a, let's have a look, tweaks. Okay, so we've got tuning, we've got dampening. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. So we can go sends. Wow. Okay, so it's got reverb. There we go. That for me is a better kick. So let's try tuning that down a little bit. Nice. I think we can now, here we go. So we've got tech and model at the top here. If I click on the model, we can now adjust different, like the amplifier envelope and things like that. So let's have a quick look at this. So we've got the dampening here. So let's have a, okay, so I quite like that. Let's have a little look. So let's turn the envelope on. Oh. So that's cool. We can kind of boost that click of the pop of the bass drum, the click. Nice, that's done good things for us. I just want to move this over a little bit so we can see the volume. Okay, so I can turn the overall gain down here. Let's go -6. Sorry that my microphone's sensitive and it's picking up my keyboard. I'll try and click a little bit softer. Okay, so well, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so let's have a look at this snare. Once again, we have a whole heap of snares here that we can check out. I'm just gonna try just the first one there. I've double clicked on that. We can see it's loading in. Some of these take a little while. I already prefer the sound of that. That's done. Nice. So that's got massive potential, I think. So let's just program in. Let's have a, I'm quite happy with the hats at the moment. So let's just close this down. Let's program in some drums and let's just see if we can get like a break kind of happening. So let's insert a MIDI clip. I'm on 140 BPM. If I come down, should be C0, which should be our kick drum. Let's turn the monitor icon on. Okay, brilliant. So let's go. So that for me, the rim shot sort of style snare is a nicer snare. I like that. I'm literally just not randomly, but kind of randomly just putting in some drums. And then we'll just that there. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lose this one after here. Nice. And now we can put in some hats. So let's go. We'll just go straight hats for the second. There. Nice. Do that, make sure that we're selected to the bar, and then we can just duplicate that across. Nice. And we'll just grab this, we'll duplicate this across as well. Okay, so we could now try and just change some of these symbols around. Nice, and then we could even try maybe even just put one of these in every now and again. So this is like your pedal for your hi-hat. Maybe not that one, but maybe try. Nice. And once again, we'll cut this up afterwards. Put that on there, and let's just drop the volume on that a little bit. Okay, let's put a cymbal in on this first beat here. That's quite nice. I'm going to lose this hit, wherever it was. Nice, that better. Okay, so another thing to note is we've now got a snare with an open hat above it as well, as we've got this bass drum as well at the beginning here. So if I select those two, yeah, so we've got those two, and then we've got these. Sorry, these. So I think they're good alternative hits to have in there. We could even, for the end here, just lose these two, because then we've got the ring out on that snare, and we could do the same thing with these here. So we've just got the ring out on the cymbal and the ring out on the open hi-hat. Nice. So let's come to this snare, and let's just put in like a couple of ghost sort of style snares. You can hear that the hit changes depending on the velocity, but we can also change the snare. Go. We could bring the volume up on these a touch. Nice. So let's try and move in that one to there. I'm literally just playing right now. So let's move that onto like the same snare as what we've got, but we'll just drop the velocity on it. Looking for variation with these hits. So what we're going to do is lose that bass drum. Nice. We could also just try and maybe just putting this on here, bend that out a touch, and then we've got like a dropped sort of stick, as it was, like bounce. Nice. Okay, so let's try and maybe just put that on there. Nice, so we've got a lot of different hits in here now. So we'll do that, we'll put that on there, we'll drop the volume on that. We can also try and maybe grab in, say, this one. Put that on an open hat, and then we could then copy a closed hat to here, so that'll then choke it, that will close the thing down. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that there for me is pretty cool. So what we'll do is we will now just, we'll resample this into the computer. So we'll hit the resample button there. In fact, we could just check out some effects on this, maybe rough it up a little bit. So we're on audio effects, let's go to the drive, let's grab a saturator. Got the volume on the saturator a touch, and then we can boost it. Have a look at this kick again. Quite a nice kick. Okay, so I want to try very quickly on this page here. I want to just come in and grab the very first kick and turn the volume right up with that, and then I want to just grab another random kick and I want to do the same thing again, and then we've got like an accented kick. I also want to put a quieter kick in here as well, so let's maybe come to this one and drop the level on it. So we've just got, once again, different kicks, different hits. Let's go to the snares. Where are we? So we've got a snare here and it's just got a hat on it, so that's cool. So let's brilliant. Okay, so let's just resample that before we go any further. So let's go hit the record button on here, and let's just let that do its thing. We'll turn the loop off. Let that ring out. Brilliant. Now we can mute off BFD3, sorry, and we can now come to this audio, and as you can see, it's done a really good job at putting all of our points in. So what we'll do is literally we will go to quantize, and I know that these two at the end here we can lose these points here. So let's hit delete on that and delete on that, because that was just that open hat, and that goes to nothing. So we should. Cool, that's fine. I don't care about the timing on it. I know that we've got a point there. Let's just zoom in a little bit more here. So that's good. We've got a point here that is missed, so that's cool. We can put that in. Let's come along. So we're just double checking. We're not worried about these last ones. That's just one hit, so that's fine. So let's just drag this along and let's have a look at these transients, make sure we haven't missed any more. Okay, what have we got here? These are good. Let's maybe take that along to there. All looking good, it's all looking good. Nice, let's just zoom into this one. It looks like it's slightly before, but it's not, that's good. And they're all on the button. That's brilliant. So what we'll do now is we'll right click on that and we will go slice to new MIDI track. We'll leave it, all the settings exactly as they are. And then we can now delete this first audio. And we've now got it here. So we can delete that off as well, because that's the original programming and that's not what we're after. And we can now just draw out 4 bars. We can insert a MIDI clip and we can loop it over there. And we should have a reasonably nice sounding kit. As you can see, we've got however many 23 slices there. If I play this across the keyboard, go up an octave. Okay, so let me turn the, come back to the channel here, turn the loop length down so it doesn't cycle. Nice. So they're actually sliced really nicely, they're cut really nicely. We can adjust the amplifier envelope, we can add more effects to it. So let's just program something in and see how it sounded. Nice. And you can hear we've got a range of bass drums here. So what we could actually do, which might make our lives a bit easier, is if we come to the mixer page here and we open out these slices, we could then go through. So we know that slice 1 is a bass drum. And it's ready. There we go. That's a bass drum. Okay, so 4 and 5. So let's go 1, 4, 5, and let's group them. So we know that 1, 4, 5. We've got another kick drum here, so let's move that into this group. Yeah, so far we've got all of our bass drums in the same group. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. And basically what we're doing is we're just separating the drums out. Another one there. That group. Nice. And then we could do the same thing with the snares. So I can close that group up now for a second. Go. And we can rename that bass drum GRP. And we know that we've now got the bass drum group there. So we can now go to the snares. Or if I come down up an octave, let me sort my keyboard out. Up an octave. Okay, so we've got the snare. So slice 8 and slice 2. Oh, wrong one. There we go, let's group them. And we can do exactly the same thing again. Just rename this. Snare group. Drag that into this group. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. Me and my stupid right click. Nice. So we're now, the layout's exactly the same across the keyboard, but we've now got a bass drum group and we've got a snare group, which is super handy. So we can now process just those bass drums together, or we can process just the snare drums together. It's a super handy way of working. So all of these now are hats, which is brilliant. So we can now group them, and we can now rename that. We can go hi-hat group. There we go. So we've got hi-hat group. So we know now that we've only got 3 channels that we really need to mix now, or to effect up. That's a nice kick drum. So let's have a look at the bass drums here. And we can still pitch everything, we can still treat everything as usual. We just have them separated on the mixer into like sub mixes, you know. So we can come to here now, audio, and we can now rename this, and we'll go BFD kit. BFD kit, and we'll go -01. Nice. That kick drum is from it. That's the one. And you see how we've added that hat behind that one of those kick drums there, and then we haven't got it with that one. And you can hear the difference in the actual kit there. So you've got these variations throughout your kit. It's super cool. It's the same kick drum, but it's just slightly quieter, or it's slightly harder, or it's, you know, it's got a hat with it, or it hasn't. So we'll grab a saturator, and we'll put this on the bass drums here. So I want to basically just cut that out for a second. I want to come to the bass drum group, and then I want to paste this after there. And this is now just on the bass drum. So if I come to here, you can see it's now inside that group. So it's just on the bass drums. If I go to the snares, it's not on the snares. Press play there, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so we've now got a saturator across all of the bass drums. So let's give it some saturation. Really, really nice. And we've now got control as well over the volume of the bass drums. So we can bring that down to like the -6, so we're just sort of catching that. Nice, and that little bit of saturation just gives it something, you know. We could also grab like an EQ if we wanted to, and we could then grab like an EQ8. We'll put that after the saturation, and we can now bring some of that low end back in if we want to. We could also maybe bring some of that, like bring some cut in on this very, very low end. So some of the bass drums aren't so nice. That's better for that hit. Oh, we could even bring that. Nice. But that, for me, that's the bass drum. So we could see if we can increase this click slightly. So that, for me, hasn't hurt it at all. I mean, it's maybe a little bit extreme. There we go. So we brought that down a little bit. Sorted. So there you go. We've got now kicks. Bring the volume down again a touch on that. So let's now move on to the snare group. So we can grab the snares, we can grab an EQ8, and we can also grab the saturation. We'll go before the EQ8 again with the saturation, and let's have a look. They're nice hits, man. So we can now EQ this snare about a little bit, so we can bring down the low end on this. Like, it's not going to hurt it at all. We could bring up like your 250 sort of low thump on the snare. Give it a bit more body. Give it some so we're looking for like the stick hit almost of it. It's a serious snare. Cool, so let's try turning off this adaptive cue. Nice. And once again, we can adjust things like the envelope, the amplifier envelope shape on the for all the drums. We've still got all the control over it. Nice. So I'm quite happy with that. So let's come down to like a reverb. Let's put just a normal reverb on it, and we won't go crazy with this one, but we'll nice. Nice. So yeah, really, really, really cool. So let's head across to our hats now, and we can do exactly the same thing again. So let's grab a drive, let's grab a saturator, let's grab an EQ, let's grab an EQ8, let's grab a reverb, let's grab reverb, and let's drop the dry wet on this. So these don't have a lot of weight in them, which is brilliant. We could, just to be safe, just knock this out and then, there we go. Like, we're not losing anything there at all. So the reverb here is a little bit too much. I'm actually there we go. Okay, so let's just try to program something up with that. Now that we've processed that a little bit, and then we can have a look at maybe having the checking out the pitch and the amplifier envelope. So we're literally just going to program something in, so we can come down to the very beginning here. Right, so that's cool. We can nice. We can extend this out. Probably go a bit further than that. And then I think there was a nice kick drum. Nice. Grab another hat. So let's use that kick drum there. Let's try that. Nice. So we could probably extend this out a little bit maybe. Nice. We'll grab another snare. Like that. And let's also just put a kick drum straight after that snare. Nice. Got the hat in there. Nice. So we could then just continue this along. We'll grab another kick drum here. Nice. And then Control A, so we select everything, and then duplicate, and then we'll just lose this first kick drum here, and we'll put it on like one that's not a cymbal. There we go. So we want to change it from that one. Nice. So we could just extend that. Or we can leave that there like that even, and we can have a look at some of these fill snares maybe. So, okay, so let's exchange this to there, and let's put in, here we got hat. Nice. And you can see how we've just made that kit from that acoustic kit. It's sounding a lot less acoustic now. So we can now come back to this page here. Not to there, sorry, we just grab that top bar, and we've now got things like our amplifier envelope. We can now, we could process the whole kit as a whole now, rather than processing the individual sort of bass drums, snare drums, hi-hats. We can process the whole thing together. So let's have a look at this amplifier envelope to start off with. That's tightened that kit up. It's made it a little bit smaller sounding, I get that, but it has tightened it up. So what we could do now is just introduce like the saturator again, just on the overall kit now. We want to be careful of this bass drum. We don't want the bass drum to become sort of too farty as it was. Check our level. Okay. So if we come to the controls here, we could now come to say the transposition, the transpose, and we could maybe take it up 2 or 3, depending where it lands. There we go, so we're going 3, and then we can copy that to copy the value to siblings, which will then should, in theory, copy it to every one of the other drums in the or keys in that sampler. So that beginning simple sounds funky. So 3 is maybe a little bit too much, so we could go 2. It's better. Nice. Have another look at this reverb on his snare. And now the reverb seems to make more sense. Nice. So we have options now again. We could export the kit again as it is now. So we could record it back in or resample the kit, and then we could then sort of cut it up, put it back into a drum rack, and then we've got an extra process kit that we could process further. So that would be an option. The other option is to now just save that kit off because we've now got it. So we could group all of these together. In fact, let's do it. Here we go. So we select the very first drum rack and the first instrument in the whole sort of the signal chain, and then we'll go Control A, which will select all of the samples, all of the devices in your rack, and then basically we'll come to the front here and we'll right click and we'll go Group, and that will put everything in this group, this bundle. So we can now save that. If I go there and I go, what did we call it? Let's go BFD3 underscore kit -01. There we go. So we've now got that. So I could now, in theory, drag this into my library. So 2023, we could go drums, and then that can now sit in there. So we've got BFD kit 01. Nice. Or we could even go a step further. We could go new folder, and we could go what month? September. So September 2023. And then we're even more organized. We can just drag that into there. And then now we know that when we come into there, we can go straight to that kit. Brilliant. So we could now come back to BFD3, and we could now delete this off if we wanted to or whatever, or we could just mute it off. We can come back to BFD3, and we can now come back into the kit. And what we can do now is we can just grab a different kit, or we could adjust the kit that we've got. Nice. So our original kit. I know we're peaking here. I don't mind so much on this. I'm driving it anyway here. So yeah, okay. So what we'll do is we will grab another kit. So what I'll do is I'll show you how I do that. So let's go hip hop. Yeah, sort of 90s hip hop. So we'll do that. As you can see, it's going to take a while to load in. So I will pause you, and I will bring you back once that's done. Okay, so that's loaded in. So we now have a new kit on the go. I need to activate the BFD channel again so we can play it across the keys. I've transposed my keyboard so that my bass drum is now sitting at C1, or my lowest key is sitting at C0, sorry. So, excuse the noise in the background. It's crazy windy here today, as you can see by my blind in the background there maybe. But you can hear it's a completely different kit. So this is the BFD 390s Hip Hop 01 PG program, I suppose. Kick's nice. So all of our settings are still on this, so I can now turn the I can turn that first kick, the kick in back on, and we'll have that on this time. Let's try turning the kick sub off again. Okay, we'll leave the kick sub on. Nice. And you can see with the different velocity hits and stuff, you can get very natural sounding drums, you know? Nice. I mean, my plan's not so nice, but super cool. So what we'll do is we will leave that there, and we will now program this in. Well, I think we've already got it programmed in here. So let's have a listen and see how this programming. So the mapping should be exactly the same across the keys, so it should be just a different kit. Nice. Okay, so one of the things I did think we were missing maybe in the very last drum loop was maybe a longer, just an open hi-hat on its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back to here. I'm going to put it up onto an open hi-hat, and I'm just going to let that ring. Nice. I'm going to get rid of that kick. And I might even... There we go. Let's grab a different cymbal for there. Let's bring the volume down on that. And let's try that. Okay, so I want to put a hat here as well. And what the hat will do is it will choke this cymbal. So it will stop the cymbal, it will close the cymbal down basically. So we can try that on the pedal. Because if you can imagine, if you're a drummer, you're sitting there, you lift your foot up, which causes the open hat, and then you put your foot down, which causes the close. It's not always necessarily like a tap with a stick. So this is the only hit I'm not a massive fan of. So let's just go through some random ones at the top here. Okay, let's try that. Okay, let's switch a few of these snares around. So let's turn the volume up on that so that it's a full, like 100% velocity hit. Sorry, there we go. Let's try a different snare. Nice. Okay, so we'll get rid of this. So we've got that ring of the snare. So we're just looking for variation across the key, you know. So what we'll do is we'll do exactly the same as last time. We'll go to the resampling here. We'll click record, and we will literally just record that in. We'll turn the loop off, and we'll just let it play out. Nice. Let that finish off a little bit more. And that's plenty. Brilliant. So what we can do now is come back into here exactly the same as before. We can just look over the hits, and we can, so there's one on that, that's good. So we can now just give this a play. So we'll solo this channel, we'll take the record off. Okay, so it might be better for us this time to actually put the points in manually. We have a few here that we definitely don't want, so we know that this part here is just one hit. So that's, you know, one hit there. There we go, there's a hit there, that's a hit there, that's a hit there, that's a hit there, I think. Definitely a hit. Yep, so that's got that foot pedal there. There's a hit there, there's a hit there. That's definitely like an open hat sort of style hit. That's a hit. Here we go. Let's zoom in here because I'm not trusting. Yeah, no, we're good, we're good. Brilliant. So actually, let's take that one off and let's just move that onto the button there. Go. Here we go. And I think that should be all of them. Nice. So once again, we'll right click. We'll go slice to new MIDI track. Go. And that'll give us so we can get rid of the audio there. And we can now grab we can get rid of the programming on that. And we can just rename this Control R, and we'll go BFD3 kit -02. There we go. And we can now just check out, in fact, we'll just call it, there we go, no 3 in there, BFD kit, there we go. BFD kit 02, so it ties in with the first one. We'll just put that below the first one so that it makes more sense when you're looking at it. And then we'll just have a play. I've got to knock my keyboard back. There we go. Okay, so there's our first problem. The loop length. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we've got a slight click at the end of that. Okay, so we have a problem here. It's put up an extra point in for us, so we're literally just going to take that all the way to the end of the recording. There. Zoom. Would have been there forever, look. There we go. Brilliant. And then we've got that full tail on that cymbal. So what I'll do now is I'll do exactly the same as before. I won't make you sit through it this time. But I'll now go through and I'll put all the bass drums in a group, I'll put all the snares in a group, and I'll put all the hats in a group. So I'll pause you and I'll bring you back once that's done. Okay, so I went through and I did exactly that. So as you can see now, I've got a bass drum, snare drum, and hi-hat, all separate groups. As you can see when I click across the keys, all of the hits correspond to the correct group, which is super handy. So we can now process these groups individually again. So once again, we'll do exactly the same thing as we did last time. We'll grab a saturator out, we'll grab an EQ. So what I'll do is, once again, I will pause you and I will bring you back once I've just dragged a saturator on and an EQ onto all of the channels and put a little bit on each. All right, back in a sec. Okay, so as you can see, I've just been through and I've done exactly the same as what we did on the last kit. So I've added a saturator and an EQ to the bass drum. I've added a saturator, EQ, and reverb to the snare. I've added exactly the same to the hi-hat, and I've just tweaked them all slightly differently. I haven't adjusted anything else just yet. So if we come back to the main channel now, and I'll just come across to the beginning. Here we go. So we've now got once again our amplifier envelope, and we've got our pitch control. If we come to here, we can now pitch the drum kit about. We can now, we can adjust the length of the individual hits. So if we come back to this other page, and what I could do, just for the sake of easiness and for recording and stuff, we could just duplicate onto there, and we should, in theory, now. Okay, so the program isn't so good there. There's something I quite like about it. It's kind of randomy, but it wasn't quite right. So let's actually just get rid of that and let's just let's program something else in. So insert a MIDI clip, and then we'll come down to the bottom here. So we'll use that first kick drum for the very first impact hit. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll just drag this out. Quicker than that, I think. Okay, so yeah, so we'll come to here, we'll grab a hi-hat. Nice, so we could even switch this snare. Nice. Just to make these a bit shorter here. We've got that's nice there. move that to here. Let's bring this across. Let's bring this out. Okay, so there's something here I'm not a massive fan of. Let's try moving this onto another snare. Nice. Extend that out a little bit. Okay, so I'm not a fan of that. It's this, I think. Nice. Okay, so let's put a hat in here. Okay, so let's duplicate that across, and let's just sort this first hit out here because we don't want that to be the open hat again. That's a nice bass drum. Oh, actually, that's a bit harder, that one, so we'll just use that one there, and then we'll. There we go. So we could exchange this now. Yeah, that's fine. So we can leave that there. We can put this on a normal hat. There. We could even put like a fill snare in here now, like a ghost sort of snare. Bring that down. Okay, so it might be better after this snare. I want it to be a kick drum. Nice. And once again, we can process the whole kit together. So if we come to the end here, because we've got the actual channel selected rather than the individual groups, we can now just double click on, say, the saturator, and that will go over the top of everything in that group. So you do definitely bear in mind that that's going to enhance your reverbs and any other effects you've got on there. But let's have a look at that. Let's go 6 there. We'll come down a touch there. Okay, and let's have a look at the pitch, see if we can just adjust this quickly. In fact, let's look at the envelope and the pitch at the same time. So this is the amplifier envelope for the whole kit. Nice. Let's try coming down to. So yeah, that was quite nice, but I think we can do better. So let's try up to. Nice. So we could try it. Let's just try a random. Let's go 6. And what you can hear there is you can hear that the warp mode is on the samples, which is, it's one of those. There's times when I really like it being on, and there's times when it's actually just a bit of a pain in the butt. So what I'll do is I will go through and I will turn the, so I'll give you a play of it now. In fact, I'll duplicate the channel. So that's what we'll do. So I will duplicate that. So let's go Control D. There we go. So this one is the one that's going to have the warp modes on, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to turn off the warp modes here, and then you'll hear the difference between the when we pitch it about and the warp modes. So I'm going to pause you once again, bear me 2 secs, and then I will bring you back once that's done. I just thought I'll do the first couple so you can see what I'm doing. So I've literally selected the first slice there. I'm going to turn the warp off. There we go. Second slice, turn the warp off, and I'm literally just going to go through every one of the slices and do that. So I'll pause you so you haven't got to watch that because that'd be pretty boring. Okay, so I went through all of the slices on this, the duplicate of the kit, and as you can see, I've turned off all of the warp modes there. I did it for literally every single slice throughout the thing, and I figured what we could do now is we can come back to this other page and we can just cut these in half. So I'm going to use this this second one here, which is going to be the no warp markers, no warp mode, sorry, and then the first one here is going to be the warp mode. So I'll turn the solo off. So we've literally just got these two. Let's turn that off there. So it will just switch between. So you'll hear with the, so they're both pitched exactly the same. So if I come back to the controls here, we're up +6 semitones on both of the kits. But you'll now hear the difference that it makes with that amount of transposition and the warp markers. Yeah, so here you go. So the first one is with the warp markers on, with the warp mode on, and the second part here is without the warp mode. So I'll give you a play. And everything else on the kits is exactly the same. So if you look down here, the amplifier envelope is identical for both of the kits. You know, nothing has changed there. Like they're both exactly the same kits. They've both got different slices selected. If I come to here you go. Away from there, sorry. So slice 1 here, you'll see that actually they're both identical. There's no difference in these kits at all. It's literally just the warp mode. That's the only difference. But you can hear there's a massive difference in the sound, the texture. It's a lot sharper. That's kind of got like a phasey sort of flangery feel about the first one. So for me, that second one sounds a lot more natural. So yeah, so definitely experiment, you know, and like I say, you can just duplicate your channel. So you've got two copies of exactly the same thing. One, turn the warp markers, the warp modes off, and the second one, leave it on. And that way then you can compare the two very, very, very quickly and easily. So once again, we could then group all of these effects on this channel together. I'm going to do this second version here because I prefer it without the warp markers on. Without the warp mode on. So I'm going to go Control A after clicking on that very first drum rack bar there. We can come across so we can see, here we go. So I've now held Shift and clicked on the last one there. I can go Control G, which will add it into a group. So as you can see now, everything is contained within this group. I can go for Save. And then we can then call this, was it BFD kit -02. And we can now just drag this up into that original folder here. Okay, so there we go. Let's rename this. Rename, and we'll keep it in with keeping. So we'll go BFD3 _ kit -2. There you go. So there you go. You can just keep going. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, you know. Especially with these acoustic sort of drum instruments like this BFD3 is just, it's perfect for it because they're all really well recorded. So it gives you good quality, once again, good quality core sounds. And also lots of variation across the snares and stuff like that. Bear with me 2 seconds, my camera stopped to just sort that out. All right, anyway, I'm back. So yeah, so there we go. So that was making drums from one of these like acoustic drum sort of machine, real life sort of style kits or units. So yeah, definitely check them out. I get a lot of my core drums from this kind of thing. You know, there's a load of these different ones. BFD3 was on sale on Plugin Boutique at a very reasonable price. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it wasn't a lot of money. And for the amount of kits and stuff you get within that, it's worth every penny. You know, it's worth every penny. So, and you can, like I say, you can buy expansion kits then for it on top. I think there's a few free ones as well. So it's like a never-ending supply of good quality drums, and there's nothing saying that you can't now double those kits with harder bass drums and snares, and you know, so you've got like their main bass drum, main snare, and then these kits in the background that you can sort of play with, and they work well for drum and bass as well. You know, that's why we've got the fill snares in there and stuff like that. It's definitely worth a look at. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that was insightful and helpful. Go check out the members section, hit the old like button, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Big up, much love.